What will happen if the greatest armies of all time clash one after another with a modern American military base? On the same battlefield with the same defenders. Don't worry, we won't include every army. That would take hours. I chose 5 of the most legendary and diverse, each bringing its own style of warfare. Fort Campbell in Kentucky protects them, one of the largest and most important military bases in the USA, home to the 101st Airborne Division. More than 25,000 soldiers, Black Hawk helicopters, Apaches, and more drones than in some countries, radar-guided missiles, and a multi-layered defense system designed to detect and stop everything that moves. Each wave attacks the base with fresh troops. No damage, no losses among the defenders. And remember, this is just a hypothetical scenario, far from ideal realism. There are 100 ways to conduct this test. I chose the one that seemed the most exciting. The rules are the same, 1 attempt each time. Let's see who gets closer to the target and who will be erased from the face of the earth. The first wave, Spartans. Forget about the 300. This time 3,000 Spartans in bronze armor march in 5 dense formations. Никакой кавалерии, никаких лучников, только копья, короткие мечи и дисциплина, которая когда-то сдерживала целые империи. They emerge from the morning fog, shields and helmets covered in river mud to avoid glare in the sun. It doesn't matter. As soon as they cross the forest boundary, thermal cameras detect the heat signature. An alarm signal is triggered. The cram cannon, usually used for shooting down rockets, is manually turned. At one moment, it fires thousands of 20mm shells in their direction. More than 70 Spartans fall instantly, but they continue moving. M240 machine guns open fire from the towers. Then the 50mm M2 Browning machine guns are activated, piercing shields from 800 meters away. The line cracks. Some Spartans rush through the smoke, trying to close the distance. About 400 reach the barbed wire barrier and get tangled in the barbed wire. They are being struck down in waves of fire. A few of them throw spears. One spear reaches the Part Phi unit. He tries to strike at the tire, but it immediately explodes. Could they have broken through? Only if the base were blind, silent, and asleep, then perhaps they would have reached the checkpoint. Bravery helps to get closer but does not stop 4,500 shots per minute. The second wave, Roman legionaries. This wave comes with siege equipment. 5,200 Roman legionaries appear a kilometer north of the fortification. They are armed with shields, short swords, and digging tools, as well as 60 scorpions and catapults, and they possess a tactical mind honed through conquests. Their scouts attempt to advance stealthily, crawling low and camouflaged, but ground radars detect their movement. The thermal imager detects the others. Shells from the 120mm mortars soar into the air. The first shells explode mid-air. Woven shields vanish, crews fall. The catapults don't even have time to fire. The Romans set fire to green trees trying to obscure the sensors, but the heat cannot hide behind the smoke. Their shots fall short. Return fire is swift. At dawn, 3 dense formations of Roman shields crawl towards the wire barricade. They are almost at their target. Then the 50 caliber machine guns start firing, followed by Mk-19 grenade launchers. Each 40mm shell lands with a bang. The formations begin to break apart. About 100 soldiers reach the fence. One squad breaches the barbed wire using a fallen cart and storms into the warehouse. At this time, the Apache helicopter rises into the air. A single burst from 30mm guns concludes the attack, and the only thing they damaged was the warehouses. The second wave. Napoleon's army. 35,000 infantrymen, 6,000 cavalrymen, 140 cannons. Napoleon sends his full forces, but they do not attack. They disperse. The French cavalry spreads out in a wide semicircle to slow down the supply of resources. It is not a complete blockade, but enough for every rocket, shell, and drone inside Fort Campbell to seem a bit more valuable. Artillery crews are dragging 6-inch and 12-inch guns just over a kilometer. Most shots ricochet. A shell flies by and grazes the watchtower. A successful hit. Immediately, 3 Apaches take to the air, locking their sights. Hellfire missiles destroy artillery groups. Hydras tear apart supply trucks. Horses panic. With one pass, a dozen cannons fall silent. At night, French sappers dig zigzag trenches, some reaching within 400 meters. Then smoke grenades rise into the air. Under cover, a small group of sappers approaches closer and places charges around the perimeter. Boom. A section of the fence is breached. The defenders quickly repair it, but for 30 seconds, Fort Campbell has a hole. It's not enough. Drones track every movement, mortars bombard every trench, machine guns meet every attack. Napoleon's best plan is destroyed by a cheap drone, and the siege quiets in smoke and mud. The third wave, Germany during World War II. This wave begins differently. First, gliders. DFS-230s attempt to land near the airfield. Fort Campbell detects them using radar and thermal imaging. Guards on towers are firing at the landing zone with M240s. Some gliders crash, others land successfully, and their troops rush into the darkness. A few disappear, then bombers appear. 36 Ju-87 Stukas fly low. Fort Campbell tracks them from 5 kilometers away. Avenger missile systems lock on. Stinger teams open fire. A few Stukas breach the defenses. One drops a bomb that hits a fuel tank. Another damages the vehicle park. But the command, drone operations, and Apaches remain untouched. German artillery and Nebelwerfer rockets begin shelling. They hit randomly, without GPS. HIMARS respond. 6 guided GPS rockets destroy entire German batteries in retaliation. Then the tanks, Panthers, and Tigers advance through the morning mist, hoping to pass unnoticed by the sensors. But the Apaches see everything from above. They notice the hot clouds of exhaust. Hellfire missiles strike the leading tanks. On the ground, American soldiers with Javelin anti-tank missiles wait for silhouettes to emerge from the fog. Then they open fire. Several tanks respond, but none survive. Next, infantry soldiers attack with MG-42 and flamethrowers, but the fog won't save them from thermal vision. This thermal sight. It sees heat, not light. 50 caliber machine guns and airburst grenades strike everything that moves. Over 8,000 soldiers, 120 tanks. Fewer than 300 reach the fence. Some chaos, a successful strike, an attempt to break through, but nothing works. The fifth wave, modern united forces. This is the sharpest weapon of war. Stealth bombers, AI tanks, delayed drones, special forces, without a flag, just the best that Earth can strike at a target. Could they level Fort Campbell in 15 minutes? Yes, but we didn't give them a free shot. We gave the base a chance. It all starts slowly. Malware infiltrates through a fake Wi-Fi login. Internal channels begin to flicker. Systems slow down. No one notices anything yet. Then the GPS shuts down. An EA-18G Growler electronic warfare aircraft fills the space with jamming. Satellite signals vanish. The base switches to backup navigation systems. Now the real attack begins. 24 hypersonic DF-17 missiles are falling towards their target. They fly at 5 times the speed of sound, diving sharply, too fast to be intercepted, yet not invisible. Satellites and radars detect the launch. The base has only a few seconds to prepare. It's a little, but it's enough. Then the B-2 bombers appear. They are still hundreds of kilometers away. They launch JSOM-ER cruise missiles. They fly low, following the terrain, and remain under radar. Fuel tanks explode. Arsenals vanish. Runways are destroyed. 2 CRAM anti-aircraft systems open fire. Then 1,000 Lancet kamikaze drones ascend into the sky. The Phalanx guns, controlled by radar, shoot down 60 before overheating or running out of ammunition. The rest crash into towers, bunkers, and sensor masts. Then the Blackhawks arrive. Special forces glide over the treetops, dropping fire teams around the perimeter. They seize communications and tower nodes with the support of drones and silenced rifles. Now, tanks follow. 90 units. The Leopard 2A7 and M1A2 SCP-V3 enter under the cover of drones. HIMARS strikes destroy 4 of them. Then they come into view. Kamikaze drones finish the job. Fighting continues inside the base. A U.S. team ambushes an armored convoy using anti-tank guided missiles, grenade launchers, and Humvees equipped with 50 caliber machine guns. They destroy 2 transports but come under fire, with only one managing to escape. The remaining Apaches take to the sky. 2 shoot down Iris-T missiles. One survives, launching a hydro strike on a fuel column, then retreats. Fort Campbell resists. Hundreds of drones are shot down, 14 tanks destroyed, many killed. It's not enough. This time, the base falls. Or do you think one of the older armies could have done better? What if a Roman legion stormed a World War II bunker? Thanks for watching.